Hello everyone and welcome to the new episode. Today we are going to build the biggest application at that channel, so whole blog node application where you can create post, edit post, delete post, everything you will be able to do in the front end part. Of course, you will be able to authenticate, log in and log out the user as well. The only file I've got here is public styles.css that I provide with the rest of the code in the description below. So whenever we start our journey with building the application, we need to, of course, create npm init-y. And with that, we can start to install some dependencies. The database that we are going to use, of course, is MongoDB. If you don't have the account, I encourage you to go to mongodb.com, create the account, and here you will be able to get the free version. It's M0, as you can see over here, and I will show you how we will connect it with our application. Okay, without further ado, going back to our application and npm, we need to install Bcrypt JS. Also, we'll need body parser. We'll need cookie parser. We'll need cserv. We'll need also .env. We need cookie parser and cserv because we also will take care of cookies and how they manage our logging system, so we'll stay logged in. .env, EJS, Express. Also, we'll need JSON web token, Mongoose to handle our database, NodeDemon to be able to handle our non-stop working NodeJS, and validator to validate the models that we will just create later on. And with that, we need to wait a few seconds till it's going to install. And in the meantime, we'll just create index.js file where the whole magic will start. So first of all, we need, of course, to const express and initialize our Express application. As always, we'll create const.app equals express, and with that, we are almost ready to go because we need app.listen at port and also the console.log server is running. And we need that to handle our changes inside the server whenever we start it. And right now, we need to, in the packet.json, in the scripts, create a new script that will be start. And here we'll create NodeDemon and index.js. And that's all. Right now, whenever we create npm start, our application will start running and everything will run as it should. Okay, so going back to our index.js, we need to get some information, some dependencies library from what we installed. So first of all, we'll need path. Path will need to get the path to our CSS file. So the Node.js will know from where we will provide the style CSS to our EJS. Also, body parser to parse our body elements, body parser. Also, we will need cookie parser to handle our cookies. And as well, we will need like some kind of protection with cookie, and that's why we'll create CSRF, and with that we will require cserv, and that will handle that from us. Right now also we'll need to get .env and that config to be able to handle our .env file that we are going to create over there, so .env. And right now we need to just get to the another folder, a file, where we've got our database. And here we'll just create a possibility access to our database through the users. So database access, and over here, I will delete that user. You will have something like that if you are new, and new user. I will just create admin. Password will be very easy. You should have more complicated password than I have got, because I only created it for that role, and read and write as a built-in role. I will just add 2 numbers, and with that, we need to add the user. Okay, going back to our database, is deploying the changes, and right now we need to create, wait a second. Okay, we need to connect MongoDB for VS Code and copy our URI string whenever the admin will be your username, and password will provide inside our .env to stay secure. So here I'll create Mongo URI, and I will provide that URI string. Of course, I need to delete that password, and I've got password admin12345. Of course, later on we'll need some kind of like secret JWT to handle our JSON web tokens, and write your secret JWT here. And you can write whatever you would like to have. Don't make it that complicated, but make it some kind of complicated, because it will secure your JWT tokens. So JSON web tokens, to be more precise. Okay, going back to our index.js, because we just configure and add our .env that will work with our .env file. And right now, whenever we've got our Express running application, we need to specify something more. So we need to set the view engine as EJS. And also we need to have that use, and here we make use of everything that we'll need. Cookie parser, we'll also use express.static, and here we'll just need path, and with that we'll create directory name that we are currently in, and go to the public. Okay, and right now we need also to use the CSRF protection, but to make it work, we need to, first of all, after that, cast CSRF protection, and we need to create CSRF as a cookie true to make it sure and secure. And the last one, we need to check if everything is working, and to make it work, we've got that listen. So right now we can stay with whatever we've got over here. Of course, save it. There is no error, and it should not be. And right now we will just connect to our MongoDB database. And to make it work, we'll create the DB folder, and inside that DB folder, right there, we'll create mongodb.js, for example. And here we'll connect to MongoDB. And for that, we need Mongoose. So require Mongoose. Okay, also we'll require .env, .config, and we'll get all config from our .env that we just created, module.exports, because we'll just export it, and it will be function create MongoDB, and with that we'll just create mongoose.connect, and here we'll process that env that mongo, yes, as I remember, mongo URI. Then if everything's okay, as a result, we will just console.log connected. Of course, this should be in the races, then and here, if there will be an error, catch that error, so console.log error. And with that, we can go back to our index.js file, where we will make sure that we take care of our element of our DB. So const DB equals require, and we'll require DB, and we need MongoDB. And to make it work, make it happen, we need to specify one thing, so database, and that's all that we need to make our application work as it should. Of course, I just forgot about one thing. I see I need body parser and URL encoded. I will set extended to false. And we are using all of the dependencies that we are getting from the outside files. Okay, we've got our MongoDB created. Right now, we need to take care about our models. So over here, we'll create models. And inside that models folder, we'll create two files. Post model, which we handle our posts. And the next thing will be user model.js, and here we'll create and handle our user states. Okay, so we need Mongoose to create our model, post model to be more precise, and it's require Mongoose. And of course, const schema equals mongoose.schema. Okay, we've created our schema, and we create our new post, which will be new schema. And here we will need few things. First will be title, it will be type string, and we will require to true. We also need description, type string, also required to true, and date we'll make type date. And what we need also, we need author, which will be type string right now. Okay, we need to just import that, and to import, we need to import model, not the schema. So that's why we create const post equals mongoose that model post, and here we'll just get post module what exports equals post, and we created our post model, which is very, very simple. But right now we'll create our user routes, which is quite more complicated because it takes a lot of time to validate all the schemas. And right now we'll take care of it. Of course, we'll need Mongoose, which will require Mongoose. Also, we'll need const validator to validate our data. Validator, I will show you how we'll use it. Data. The next thing we need Bcrypt to crypt our data. Also, we need JWT, and it's JSON web token, and we need to require .env, require .env, and we need to configure it to make it work, to make it happen. Right now, also, as always, as before we need to specify the schema. And right now we need to create user schema. Okay, new schema. And there we need to specify name. Name is quite useful, and we need to know that it's required, that we have to know who the user is. Of course, we'll need also email. And here we'll take care of that email because it will be type string. There is no type email. It's required, yeah. It has to be unique. So we have to specify and take care of that user, there will be no two users with the same email addresses. So you will be able to log into another user account. We have to take care of it. And right now at the users, we need to create a unique value to be sure that each email is unique. Of course, we need, take care of lowercase to be sure if someone will make some kind of uppercases and unique will not get it, we'll just get it to lowercase and it will be validated correctly. But of course, we still not sure if it's an email, and that's why we need to validate. And that's the option that we've got inside our schema. And we can validate the value that will be passed to the email. And here, if and validator provide something like is email. And with that, we are sure that the value is correct and everything works as it should. If no, throw new error, provide email address. So we are sure that that's not email, and our validator validate that the email is not the current email that we are looking for. So there is no @ sign, there is no .com, for example, gmail.com, something like that. It will take care of some kind of rejects. We don't have to write by ourselves. The next thing is the password, and right there is of course type string, and required, of course, it is. And here we can trim, so each space will be trimmed, so deleted. And the last thing, min length, that's what we can take care of, and it will be the minimum length of our password. And right there we'll provide the value, for example, of 8. And the next thing will provide tokens that will be validated later on inside our application. So we created some easy user schema right now, which will take care of our user. Of course, to make it handle our schema, we need to first of all create a model. Mongoose.model. And here we will just create user, and we'll get user schema here. And of course, module.exports equals user. And we exported our user. We are happy, but before we need to take care over here some very important parts, because we have to take care that our password will be hashed. So we have to make sure that our encryption is done before it will be saved to the database. And right there, we can create that. Of course, there we will also create to generate of tokens and to log in the user to the account. And for that, what we need, first of all, user schema. So each schema have some functions, have some methods that we can use on them, and 3 of them we'll just use. Pre is what we have to do before we can create schema that method. That will be the method that we can use whenever we would like to have, and some kind of static files. So static file, we don't have to specify, for example, login and login user only. And right now we get the user schema pre. Save, that's the method that will be called before the save. That's why we call it save over here. We need to create async function here, of course, we'll pass next because it has to go to the next thing later on. We'll just get the user. If user is modified, we need to check if it's modified, that password. Then user, that password. We need to await bcrypt dash hash dot hash, sorry, not that, user dot password, and we create the salt. So does the generate, how many generator has to be created over here. Don't make too big number, make it, for example, 10 or 11. It's enough for that time, because it will take long times, and unhashing and some kind of decoding will be much less useful later on. Okay, well, we need also, as I said, the methods, and it will be generate of tokens, where we'll create function, and inside that function we'll get the user, and to that user we'll assign the token. And to do that we need JWT, the sign, and with that we'll check the ID, user that ID that toString, and with that we will assign the JSON web token to the user with our secret token, secret JWT to be more precise, and here process that env that secret JWT. And right now user that tokens, sorry, user that token, because we've got tokens over here, equals token, await user that save, and here we will return our token to later on if whenever we will need that token. And the last thing we'll just create inside our schema will be some statics. It will be login user, and here of course it has to be async, and we'll need email and password. And with that information, first of all, whenever we log in the user, we need to make sure if that user exists. So we'll create user and await user that find one, and we'll need to pass email. And so we'll just get that email, and we'll go through the database and check if there is an email that we provided. If there is no user, we have to throw new error, wrong password or username. Why we call it wrong password username? Because it's more safe, and someone who would like to just get inside our database, for example, some kind of email, whenever he knows the email, it's easier to get only the password than two of them. That's why I always use the wrong password or username. It's only our case that's one of two thing is not working correctly. So if it's not, we'll need to check password and await. We need to bcrypt and compare our password. And here we need to compare pass that we provide with user.password that we'll get from there. And here, if the check password is not correctly, it will be false. We need also throw new error, wrong password or username as before. If everything is okay, return user, and we are good to go. And that's how we created the whole user model that we will be able to work later on with our application. Okay, we've got our user created, and we will need one more thing, one middleware that help us to help with the authentication with the tokens. validate the tokens, to decode the tokens. And right now we'll create some middleware, and that middleware will provide the is off. So we'll check if the user is off, and to do that we need JSON Web Token, require JSON Web Token, and of course exports that authenticate token. We'll create request, response, and next. We'll call it as a middleware inside our methods that will provide inside our routes. So const token equals, and here we'll get the token from request that cookies that token, and that token will be over there. We'll take care of it later on in our routes. And if token equals null, we need to request that user to the null and next, so nothing will happen. But else, if there is a token, we'll check and try to decode it. Decoded token equals JWT.verify. Of course, we need to token process.env.secret JWT, and with that, we need to check here if that decoded token, so our token is okay, then request that user decoded token.id, and we are logged in. Else, request that users equals null, and we are not logged in. And of course, next, to precise and to create the next moves that we will be able to done inside our auth. Okay, we've created our auth, so we just secure our application. Of course, that application is not secure like NASA or something like that, but for our purposes, it's enough. Right now, we will just go from our JS and go to our EJS. And here we'll create the folder views, and it will be not inside the middleware, but inside the block node, so inside our main folder. Right there, I'll also need includes, and that will be the folder. That will be some kind of parts of EJS. We'll just use includes, okay. And right there, I will create some ways, some post EJS. That will be the first one. Oh, come on. Of course, I will need login.ejs. I will sign up.ejs. I will also need create post. I need, for that time being, I guess what we need also, we need in the includes, of course, the footer. It will just create header, and the last one will be navbar EJS. If I will remember something that we'll need over here, I will just go back to that. We'll just start with our includes. Of course, I will close all of the tabs here, so close others. It's cleaner for me and for you. Okay, I can skip footer because it will not take care of anything that we need to. I will just stick with header. And here we can create document type, and with that document type, I will only provide something like my blog. Of course, I will need also link, and do I need something? Okay, I will just get the bootstrap, and to get the bootstrap link instruction, I will also get that one from the bootstrap, because I can also use Bootstrap icons, Bootstrap in my folder, in my file. And the next link will be CSS, and it will be styles.css, and that's what we need right there. So we created our header. And of course, we need to process and create our navbar. To create that, we need class navigator. And here we'll create an ordered list. And we'll create some kind of magic right now, because nav list is the class name and LE element is what everything know about quite a lot. Okay, and inside that class, we'll just provide something like nav item, and we'll create some href with some kind of hyperlink that we will be able to get, and we will copy and create two of them. We've got the main page, we'll create the create post route. Here we'll call it home page, and here we'll make create. But we need to take care of our create, and only if the user is authenticated, we would like to provide that create post. And to make it work, we need to check if user is authenticated. That's why we are using EJS to do that, to authenticate our user and check if everything is working as we should. So if it's off, we'll just pass that later on. Then we'll just provide that link to be able to get to that link. Of course, you'll be able to get there, but we'll secure later on also with if someone would try to make some kind of overpass to that. Of course, it's one unordered list. We'll create another one. We need to create over here. We'll create some kind of more nav item. Okay. And we need to, first of all, we'll take care of logout, for example. It also will take care of, login and sign in. So create account. With logout, we have to, as before, take care and check if the user is authenticated. And to do that, okay, I need to make a space over here. I guess so. I make copy and paste it over here. Of course, I have to close it, not that one, but here I close it, and I've got my if statement done. Of course, I will just create else to make sure if the user is authenticated, and if it's not, we have to provide him the login and sign in. So login, and it will be /create account. So here we provide the login, we check and logout to logout, and of course create account to sign up. And we've created our whole navbar with some kind of secure of if user is authenticated. If it is, then do something. If it's not, then we'll take care in another way. Okay, now we'll create some kind of forms, and here will be more magic because we need to include, and here we'll just includes header EJS, and we need to create, of course, okay, we've got our header to be able to have our styles, and we'll make include to our includes slash navbar.ejs, and of course we need to close it. And right now we can create our create post form. We'll create section, and inside that section we'll create our form. So class main content, and here we'll create some div with class of container. Whoa, come on, container fluid. Nice. Of course, we need div class row inside here, and to specify it more, we need column, and that's all that we need from our divs. Right now we'll create forms. Don't worry if you don't like to create EJS and you are not here to go through that EJS stuff. That's not worry. You will be able to get the whole script from the link below in the description. So don't worry, everything will be taken care of. So right now we create our form, action, create post that we will later on get, method will be post, and class will be login form. Okay, here we'll make sure that we make hello to the user, and we'll pass the user because we would like to tell him hello. We'll make a label. It will be title because we need to provide title, and input type text. We'll need, of course, the ID of title because we provide the label for it, and name will be title, and we'll make it required as well here. Okay, we need also label for the description. Here we'll create description. We'll just make it uppercase, and there we'll create text area with type description. Oh, come on. Description. Also, we need ID. It will be the same. So description, and name will be as well description, and I will make it out, of course, like that. And we'll close our text area over here. And of course, we need to check if everything works as it should. So we also will provide the author ID later on if you would like to provide that application on the go, and to provide some kind of data that you will not to have to take care of. You don't want to show the user, which will produce that. You can create input with type hidden, and it will be hidden from the user. It will be author that we will be able later on to provide, and here as the value will provide the ID that we'll just get from the user, and it will be required, of course. Okay, we've got our input with the user. Right now, inside EJS and Node.js, whenever we create form, we need to take care of CRF token. So we will take care if every cross-origin party will not just get inside that token, and for the secure reasons, we need to also pass that token. And we'll later on pass that token to each of our form from the routes. And right now, you need to remember that it will be that CSRF and value will be the equal sign CSRF token, and we need to close it. Of course, the last thing will be type. Well, submit class submit button, and we'll make it create. And we've got our create post ready. Okay, with our login, we can just copy that and make some adjustment over here. So we'll just paste. Right now, we need only to change the form inside over here. Of course, we'll just leave whatever we would need to. We just get the login over there, and we'll create label for email, and it will be email. We'll provide input type, and that input type will also take care if there is an email. But remember, we've got the secure option that's called the validator. ID, that is email. Name, that is email. And it's, of course, required. And the next thing that we need to provide, I will just copy for myself and paste it. We'll need to get the password. So here, password, type password, email, password, ID, and name will be password. And we are good to go because we've got everything what we need. Of course, we'll just take care of some kind of errors. If there will be an error, we'll just provide the value from that error. And to do that, we create simple if statement. Of course, we need to close that if statement. And there, we'll just create some kind of p tag with the error over here, with the message that we will later on produce to show to the users. Of course, we copy, go to sign up, paste it, and whenever we are inside the sign up options, we need to create account. We need not only email, but also we need to label for name. It will be name. Input will be type text. Of course, text. ID will be name. Command name. And the last one would need name as name. That's kind scary and required. We've got name, we've got email, and we've got password over here. So everything that we need. Of course, we've got our CSRF token over here that will provide there as well. We've got our create account. So everything that we need, we've got in the correct position. So whenever we created everything that we have, we can go to our index.js and we'll start writing our code that will authenticate our CSRF token. And to do that, we'll use that isAuth that we just created. So const isAuth, and it will be required from the middleware that isAuth. That's the file that we created over there. Of course, I will clean it up, close others. And here I will provide the update use, and it will be used everywhere. So if isAuth, authenticate token, and then request user and next. And with that, we'll response locals.isAuth equal request user, res.locals.csrf token equal request.csrf token. And with that, we need to provide next, and we are good to go to be able to see everything inside our login forms and other forms. Whenever we need that CSRF token, we provide it via the middleware. Okay, we've got some views created. Of course, right now we need to create some routes. And to do that, we'll create the folder, and the folder will be called routes. And inside that routes folder, I will create the new user routes, because it's quite more complicated as well. As always, users are more complicated, but not at that time, because we got everything prepared and we only take care of the very essential part. So first of all, of course, we need Express to get the router. So Express also const router equals express.router, and then const.user, and it equals require, and we'll just get to the database, models, and we need user model. Because we are inside with user routes, remember to module.exports and export our router. Whenever you export, we can import, but we will just, we can do, if there will be an error, we'll be sure that the error will occur. So we've got everything over here. Okay. Before that, but after initialization, we can get the const user routes, and it will be require routes and user routes. And of course, it's as a middleware, it will be user routes that we'll use over here. Okay, with that in mind, we are going back to our user routes and we start to create them. First of all, we need to create the get to the login. And here we'll request response and we'll res.render, so we'll render the login page. So login, and we'll pass the no error at the very beginning. Of course, we'll also get the second page. So I mean the create, but I can also press Control-C, Command-C, Command-V, and here we can create account, and it's our sign up. And of course, we need the last one, router.get. We've got our login, we've got our create, and we need to log out. Log out, and that will be all the gets that we're just going to use. And here we'll clear the cookies from the token, and then we'll redirect user to the main page. And with that, we are sure that we just log out our user, and that's all that we need to log out our users, so get rid of our users in that way. So right now we just got our login render, so login page, sign up page, and we just logged out our user. But we need to make some logic about, for example, login, because we'll just take parse and it will be post /login. And here it will be async function request response, because we need to get to the database. Of course, try catch block, and inside that try catch block, we'll get const user, await user.login user, request.body.email, and of course we'll need request.body.password to log in our user. We need that two parts. And then whenever we just pass it, I will just briefly introduce you and remind, we'll just to login user, and we log in our user right here. And we pass that two options. Okay, as you know, we return our user. And right there, if, of course, whenever we log in, we will just await user. And right now, with that user, generate of tokens, we will just generate the token. Okay, token equals. Okay, we've got our token ready. Rest that cookie, and if something will go wrong, we'll catch that error. That's why we are writing the whole logic inside the try-catch block. And then we'll create the token with the cookie, and it will be HTTP only with true. Of course, rest the redirect, and here we will redirect to the main page. Whenever something will go wrong, we need to rest that render, and we'll render our login, and we'll pass only the error, wrong password or username. And that's all. And right now we provide the two things that will help us handle our login. Right now we will create the router.post to our /create account. It will be async function request response, and here we'll also try-catch block. Come on, try-catch. Oh, I got you. First, we need to get the user from our requested body that will send from our form. So our form from create account is sign up, and we need to get that data because date will be not important in that way. Date. We need only inside the user. As you know, we need name, email, and password. Tokens is generated automatically via our functions. So we've got our user, and now we have to check if the user exists. And to make it work, as we usually before done inside our user model, we need to find if that exists. We need to do the same inside our create account. So if it exists, user.find, and we need to provide email, and it will be user.email that we'll get from our body. And we check if user exists, length is 0, so that will be return some kind of table. We need to cast account, so we'll create a new account, and it will be new user, and we'll pass user.name. Also we'll pass email.user.email. We'll pass password, user.password. The next thing that we'll need to provide await account that generate of tokens, and here we'll generate of token. Await account that save, and we'll save, and as you know, before we save, we'll just encrypt, so hash our password, and then response redirect, so we'll redirect to the main page. But what if user exists? We'll just render sign up form, and we'll provide the error message will be user exists, but whatever there will be some kind of error, we'll just only redirect to the login, and you have to take care of yourself. Of course, there are some kind of problems can be, we can, like for example, h2 login form, and here we'll create, of course, h2 sign up form, and with that we created our sign up, login, and all user routes that we need to handle our application. Okay, we've created our user routes, we've created our views, and right now we need to handle our posts. And it will be quite more complicated because we don't write some kind of any pre-logic. So right now we create post routes.js. We can copy the three things that we get from there because, well, okay, of course we need to export everything. So module.exports equals router. Yes, we'll use the model of users, also the post routes, to make sure if everything's work as it should, working correctly. Of course, we are going back to our index.js, const routes equals require routes, and it will be post routes. Of course, app.use post routes, and we are ready to go to create our post routes. Okay, the whole magic will be here because we've got our router. We also need the post because we are going to work at that post. db.models.post model. And of course, the last thing, maybe not of course, but we also will need if user is off. So we will require the middleware, and that middleware is off. And that's the whole thing that we get from the file. Right there, we need to create some kind of folders, routes that will handle. First of all, we need to create the create post route, but we need to create it in two ways. First of all, we need to make sure if the user exists. That's why we created more complicated user route. And if it exists, then if it's login, we allow user to get to that route. So we take care of that in that step. And if it's not, we just go back to the main page. If it is, we allow them to get to that page and then to post. So we need as well two routes from one create post. So create post is off, will authenticate token. To authenticate if the token that we just provide inside our cookies is valid. If request.user, we need to cast current user and await user.find by ID. And here will be ID request.user. So the ID, if it's matched with the user, if it is, then okay. Then render will render create post. So that EJS file, and our user will be current user.name. We need also check if current user is there. Okay, we paste it over there. And of course, we need ID of the current user.id. That will later on pass. We need comma separator here, and there is no error. Okay, that's all the things that we need to do. If there is no user, we need to redirect to the main page. Okay, we've got else, but that else should be inside another else statement. So we need to close it right there, get it right there. Oh, okay. And that's what we are looking for. And right now we verify if user is existing. And if it is, we allow it to create the post. And to create that post, we'll just create the new router.post. And here, create that post. And here will be async function, request response. And there we'll just provide try catch block as always, almost always. Const date, new date. So we'll just get the date. Const post equals request body, that we'll just provide, and const add post, and it will be equals to new post. And here we'll spread the post that we get from our body and only add the date, not the date. And with that, we've got our post ready to add. If everything's okay, await, add post, that's it. And with that, press the redirect to the main page. And that's easy and quite helpful. Press that send 400 if something go wrong. And we've created our logic to create our post. So get the date that we should have, post, request body, so take everything that we need from our body, and then pass it to the post. Okay, so we've got our post route. Right now, we need to create some more things. So I will need to create 2 more JS files. So going back, I will need show post.ejs, and of course I will need post detail. Post. I will just detail that JS. Okay, show post will be the main page of our application. And here will be some kind of logic. Of course, we will just write it over there. Copy the form, because almost everything will take care of that form. Okay, we just delete everything from here. And right there, we are able to create the whole thing that we need to have. Okay, so right now we've got our check if there is a post.length. Length is equal more than 0. Then, okay, we need to evaluate that. We'll create the else with that, because we need it as well. And our else statement will be closed later on. Right there, we'll just get posts that for each post, we'll create the post and get the okay. We need to close it right there. Just give me a second. I will take care of it. If there is else, okay, that the logic that we have to create there is more complicated than it looks like. And we also need the another if statement. If there is a post.author is off, we'll be able to delete our post. And to do that, we'll just provide something like that. We need to go there and we'll just close our statement. That is the post route. Okay, get in there, and we are ready to go. So if the post length, if there is on the post length, we'll just get the div with class of cart. But I can just show you the result, how it will look like, and I will provide all the code in the snippets in the download, because it's up to you if you would like to just follow the whole show post and post details. So I'm back with the post detail and show posts. You can just make a second if you would like to, and code it along, stop whenever you would like to. That's the whole post that we need to get there. Of course, post details also is over here. It's less complicated than the show post, so the main page, but it's still quite complicated. Quite easy, but with that percentage sign, it's quite complicated to don't make some kind of mistakes. Okay, anyway, going back to our post routes, when we start our create post and we are going to the main route. Of course, our main route is the // that's all, and it will be async function, request response, and we'll try catch block also get there, and const post equals await post.find, and here we'll rest at render, show posts, and we will provide all the posts that we get from our posts. And if there will be no, or if will be some kind of error, we'll just throw the error. And that's the logic that we need to get to the post routes. The show posts. Router.post, that will be the next one. And will be quite easy because we would like to delete post, delete. And that's the thing that we call whenever we are inside, posts. We've got that for, and we can delete via post delete if we are the author of that post. That's why we also need that ID for that time being. So post delete, we need asynchronously request response, and our lovely try catch block. And here await post that find by ID and delete request that body that post ID, and the last thing, redirect to the main page. If there will be an error, we'll throw new error with error. Of course, here with error, not E, because I passed the error, so it has to be the error. And that's how we delete the post via Mongoose. It's quite easy. Router.get, and right there we'll get the specific post. It will be post / post ID. And right there, we just work to make something happen. But what? We need to get that post ID from our parameters. So to get it to work, post ID equals request.params that post ID. So that thing. Of course, I misspelled cost. And whenever we've got our post ID, await post that find by ID, and we need post ID. And with that, we then we need to post rest.render post detail, and we'll pass post as a post, we'll page title as post.title, and path will be / post. That's the thing that we have to provide over there to the post detail. Going back to our post routes, if there is an error, we can catch. That's the alternative to the catch block. So we will catch the error to stick with the naming convention. Error, we'll just throw new errors with error, and we throwing error whenever the error occurs. So we get to the specific file, we create our whole post, we delete the post, and what we need to do is router that post, and here post /update. And with that, async request response, and try catch block over here. So cast post await post that find by ID, request that body, wow, that post ID that we will just pass through our update, await post. So to update our post, to show you how we are going to update our post, we need to go to the post detail, and here we can update our post via title, description, and another fields. So that's 2 fields, because we can only change the title and the description. So yeah, with that, we need to, inside our post, we need to get to post that update 1. That's the method that provides us the mongoose. And here, title, request that body that title. And if it's not changed, then post that title will be stay the same. And description, it will be the same description. And if it's not, post the description will stay the same. And then where's the redirect, will redirect to the main page, and there throw new error if something go wrong. Okay, so we've got our all routes created, and the last thing, we need to go to our index.js and see if everything is what we need to do. Okay, we've got our paths, body, everything should be working correctly. And right now, go to our localhost 3000, and wow, show post does not work. Okay, includes panel, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I will take care of it. We've got problem inside our show post, and it includes that header.js, and it includes, why you don't want to work? Okay, I know why you don't want to work, because I made some kind of mispost, so that's not working as it should. And right now, home is working. Sign up, we'll just create some kind of user that user. Password will be 2 times user, create, and we should right now user / create, and we are inside our form. We need to create some kind of description, and we've got our user form, of course, and another one is being created. Okay, we've got everything as it should. Whenever we log in to log out, we can go there, but we don't see the edit button or anything like that. Whenever we log into our user, password will be user, and right now we have to only, okay, we can delete. Everything works as it should, so we are happy. But there is also the problem. It's not great. It's logging, and I make a misspell also over here, logging. So that will be all. As you can see, that application is quite easy, quite helpful. Over here, where you've got lorem ipsum, you can provide, for example, some advertisement. You can just make sure and provide more specific blog. You can add more posts to that. Of course, you can change some styles that I will provide you. You can adjust that block to you. That's only the boilerplate for the block that you will be able later on to provide and be able to create something more sophisticated in the future. So I hope you enjoy it, like it, and that will be all for that video, and see you in the next one.